El equipo chileno está conformado entonces por José Luis Rodríguez, que lo veíamos tratando de poner el paso. Está con Héctor Quintana, que tiene 21 años. Uy, una caída, un enredón en el que están dos corredores chilenos, justamente Héctor Quintana, también Harold Tejada. Un fuerte raspón del ciclista colombiano. También un corredor de Costa Rica, me parece que era Jason Huertas. Muy pronto para una caída. Aquí vemos el enredón entonces entre los dos chilenos, dos ticos y un colombiano. Hablábamos entonces de Héctor Quintana, que fue primero en la clasificación juvenil en la Vuelta al Porvenir de San Luis. Noveno en la clasificación de los jóvenes en la Vuelta a San Juan. Fue décimo en la Vuelta al Porvenir San Luis, en la 2.2 en la clasificación general. Ganó la primera etapa en Tilsarao y Juan Cosli. Ha sido un buen año para este ciclista chileno. Por su parte, Martín Vidaurre, que viene de ser plata en el mountain bike, corre para el Trinity Racing, un equipo continental. Es el actual campeón de la Vuelta del Porvenir de San Luis. También se ganó la clasificación de la montaña. Fue sexto en los nacionales de su país. Y por último está Vicente Rojas, de 21 años. Campeón panamericano sub-23. Justamente este año, en el 2023. Fue segundo en la Vuelta al Portugal de Futuro. ...16 en la Vuelta a San Juan, en la clasificación general. Y segundo en el Giro del Sol en Argentina. Todas en este circuito y en esta temporada de carreras de Argentina. Una temporada de Argentina que se ha fortalecido con la Vuelta a San Juan, con el Giro del Sol, con la Vuelta a San Luis. Es una de las nuevas caras del ciclismo chileno, Vicente Rojas. Y aquí vemos el pelotón entonces. Hablamos del equipo chileno, que es uno de los equipos que tiene 4 corredores. Otro de los equipos que tiene 4 corredores es el equipo argentino, compuesto por Laureano Rosas, que tiene 33 años. Mucho recorrido, sobre todo en la categoría continental. Corrió para el Sindicato de Empleados Públicos de San Juan, en el Electro 3, y este año en el Gremio Sport Deporte Cutralco. Tercero en la clasificación general del Tour Internacional a Chilecito, el circuito nacional argentino. En la Vuelta a Formosa fue el campeón, una carrera 2.2. Séptimo en la clasificación general del Tour de Catamarca. Puesto 11 en la clasificación de la Vuelta del Porvenir de San Luis, cuando vemos la cordillera de los Andes. Ese paisaje hermoso de Santiago al fondo y la torre del Costanera Center. Ha sido un buen año para Laureano Rosas, que en el 2022 ganó una etapa en la Vuelta del Porvenir. Ha sido 2 veces campeón.
Santiago, and they often host international races as well. Usually between sort of late June and late September. So that gives you more things to do in Santiago. So on the descent now, and you can see it's a pretty tricky descent. There's some sharp turns as well as we again look out over the summit. After we hit the summit, it's little, just ever so slightly downhill, just around about 2%. Does get a little steeper after 9.5 kilometers, and then it's pretty gradual all the way back down to the start of the race, the start-finish line, down by the river here in Santiago. So 2/3 of the way through the lap, and we make our way back to the Plaza a la Aviación in Providencia, commune of Santiago. Let's have a little look through the next team that's on my list. Colombia now. 4 riders for Colombia. Brian Sanchez in there. Does a lot of Colombian races. Some pretty good success as well. Does some riding in the US. He is a good all-rounder, good time trialer, decent climber, decent sprinter. 29 years old. He was on the track as well. Certainly Colombia have options. Harold Tejada as well, though. 26 years old, rides for the Astana Kazakhstan team on the World Tour. finished third in the general classification of the Presidential Cycling Tour of Turkey back in October. That's a decent race and some good stage results as well. 7th in the mountains classification, 12th in the points classification in that race. So Tejada might be the main man, given how well he could react to different things across this course. So if it's going to be a sprint, a small sprint, maybe 2, 3, 4 men sprinting, Tejada could be in that mix. If it's a long breakaway after the climbs, don't count out Harold Tejada. Victor Ocampo in there as well, 12th at the time trial. Also rode that Presidential Tour of Turkey, finished 64th in the general classification in that one. More of a sprinter, perhaps, than anything else. And Walter Vargas, the gold medalist in the men's individual time trial, he is a time trial specialist. But on this course, he's perhaps not the best of climbers, fair to say, but he can get up these sort of climbs. It's whether he can sustain it over the 9 laps of this circuit or so, but he could be one to try time trial his way to victory. So Colombia have got options. Tejada is probably the main man for them. I saw him at a couple of races earlier this season, the Coppa Sabatini and the Giro della Toscana over in Tuscany in Italy, and he was riding pretty well there. Expecting the riders to lap this maybe 25 minutes, maybe a little bit under. We'll see. Is there still on the first lap here. First of 9 laps, and everything's still together. Pace is okay. I'm going to keep talking you through the teams. We've got the time to do it, folks. We're going to be together for the next few hours. Well, there is Sebastian Brenes from Costa Rica as the Brazilian rider. Camargo is going off the front. He's got a couple of 3 teammates in there as well, but they're in the bunch there. You can see Brian Sanchez for Colombia. Colombia on the front at the moment as the speed is ramping up. Not quite the front because that man from Costa Rica is there, and we have not got to him top through Ecuador yet, but Novoa for Ecuador, Narvaez and Carapaz, the Ecuadorian team. So Novoa at the front for Ecuador, just making sure no brakes go up because they've got Narvaez and Carapaz that are their big favorites. Just controlling things on the front at the moment. Let's take a look at the Canadian team. Campbell Parrish, the 18-year-old, rode so well on the track in the team pursuit. Not a huge amount of road experience at this level, but he's going to gain a lot from this one as well. Carson Mattern has been racing a little bit over in Europe, part of the development squad for Israel Premier Tech, the Israel Premier Tech Academy. So has a little bit of experience, still just 19 years old though. Chris Ernst at 24, rides for Toronto Hustle, 4th in the Canadian Time Trial Championships. And Riley Pickrell rides on the World Tour there for Israel Premier Tech. Rode the Tour l'Avenir, he's just 22 years old. So again, another developing rider at the a high level. He's 48th in the road race at the World Championships. Not too many people finished that road race. It was tough. So Canada have a young squad gaining experience, but they will not be afraid to take it on, maybe try and get in a break. They're going to learn a lot from this one. Ecuador, for me, the team that have 2 very strong riders as we're making our way back ever so gently downhill. Won't be too long till we cross that start-finish line again. Lots of parks all over this city. The Park Uruguay, I think on the right-hand side. So the Ecuador team, Jonathan Narvaez rides for Team Ineos Grenadiers, 26 years old, excellent climber. Good at one-day races, good at general classification races. He was out in China racing. Tour of Rangji. Best result on that one, 5th on stage 2. Ended up 17th in the general classification in that one. Rode the Tour of Switzerland as well, 24th general classification. Tour of Hungary, Tour de Romandie as well. Hasn't had any real standout results this season on the road. Paris-Nice, he had a top 10 in the time trial. Again, a very, very big race. You can see the crowds absolutely packed as we're working our way back towards the start-finish line at the Plaza de l'Aviation. Marks on the right-hand side. There's a lot of shopping on the left. We've got the river there. It's going to be a feature of this road race. Still all together, all being controlled. Show river on the rider's right, and it won't be long till it's on the rider's left as well. Well, you can tell at the front of the peloton it's just stretched out a little bit at the moment, and that tells you the speed is pretty high, but good wide roads on this section. Everyone riding pretty sensibly. And this, if there is sort of a smaller group towards the finish of the race, then this is where certainly things could happen, because there is the space. Some attack you can ride off and things, but it's tricky. Maybe crossing the bridge a couple of kilometre, 2 kilometres back, where you've got the right-hander exiting the bridge, is somewhere to launch an attack. But I think the attacks are probably going to come at the bottom of the climb in the park. You see another beautiful park on the right-hand side, bathed in sunshine. As we go back to the helicopter and drone shots. So much support. There you can see the 250 meters to go and the barriers are out. So the run-in reasonably simple if it came down to a sprint. Not any sharp turns or too much street furniture before the finish line, but we're going to cross the line, and they see how quick they're doing the laps. Just under 25 minutes. And everyone all together. 8 laps to go. Let's talk through Venezuela. Clever Martinez actually on the front of the group at the moment. 32 years old. Rides for Miami Knights. He's been riding well in the US Crit Series. He's based in Miami, riding a lot of races in that part of the world. Again, good sprinter, as you'd expect from a crit rider. Angel Linares is in there from Colombia with the number 17 on his back. Rides for a continental team in Colombia. Continental team in Portugal, I should say. So doing his race in Portugal, Brazil, a little bit in Spain as well. A couple of stage wins in the Tour of Portugal as well. Which was very decent, couple of decent results. A little bit of climbing on those stages. He's a good sprinter, good climber, pretty decent all-rounder as well. So Linares from Venezuela, a rider that we could see a little bit more of in this race. Or Luis Aula, also in there for Venezuela, 26 years old. Rides for the Caja Rural Seguros squad. Good sprinter, good climber, good time trialist. Took the general classification very recently, the Crow race, the Tour of Croatia. Stage win in there as well, and he finished ahead of some big riders like Alexander Kristoff, Elia Viviani, Ethan Hayter. Crow race is a very, very good race. Three-time national time trial champion of Venezuela. It's Olar, so he's a good climber as well. Venezuela, another team with options, just the 3 riders in the team. Colombia sitting on the back at the moment. 1 rider from Panama, Bolivar Espinoza, doing his riding in mostly in Central America, a little bit in South America as well. 15th in the time trial here. He's more of a time trialist than a road racer. He's on his own, but we wish him the best of luck. Uruguay with 3 riders. Diego Rodriguez had success at domestic level in Uruguay. Ascunha, 33-year-old, again. A little bit of racing in Brazil recently, some good success there. Fagundes, Eric Fagundes for Uruguay. As we're now just seeing a little breakaway off the front. Eric Fagundes from Uruguay, as I was saying, he rode the Vuelta a España, finished 129th. He was in domestic role there, but good climber, good GC rider as well. So Brazil now, just about to get to Brazil. Off the front, Paminese. He's 28 years old. Again, he's been riding a fairly good level domestically and riding in Central America as well, and down in South America in Uruguay. 63rd in the Pan American Championships road race this year. That was won by Pierre-Andre Conte from Canada. Now Eric Fagundes, who we were just talking about, from Uruguay, was 4th in that race. So Fagundes is certainly a man to watch out for. The Brazilian team, Camargo, Armenese, Fonseca da Silva, Freitas, mostly domestic riders. They could work well together. They do have 4 riders in that Brazil squad, so that could certainly help. It's one of the Canadian riders just drifting, not drifting off the back, sitting at the back of the peloton, but it's not a bad place to be right now, although you can't react to anything. We've got 3 riders from Costa Rica. Gabriel Francisco Rojas, 23 years old. Raced the Tour of Panama back in July. Perhaps he's a good sprinter, okay climber, may or may not suit him today. Jason Huertas is 25 years old. He's been racing a lot in Spain, rode the World Championships as well, as we try to make our way back into the park again. So many people here in the park as we turn left into the park, and there's a little stretch, there's 8% coming up just as you make that left turn into the park. Jason Huertas from Costa Rica, developing rider, could go well if he times everything right. They've got Sebastian Brenes as well, 23-year-old. Likely to be riding in support. Now Chile, the host nation, 4 riders. They've already been in a crash as we start climbing for the 2nd time on this lap. You've got Hector Quintana, 9th in the time trial here. Would be World Championships. Riding in Uruguay as well. He has made a couple of trips over to Europe the road races, but fourth for Quintana at the Pan American Youth Games in 2021 for the under-23s. Quintana getting the experience on home soil of the big stage. They have also in their squad for Chile, Jose Luis Rodriguez. Nobody off the front at the moment. Brazil going for a little attack, but nothing of note sticking. As we see Carson Mattern just at the back for Canada at the moment. Jose Luis Rodriguez for Brazil, for Chile. I do apologize, rides for continental team based in Brazil. Has taken the Chilean Road Race Championship 3 times in his career. He's the current Chilean time trial champion as well. 6th here in the road race at Santiago 2023. More of a time trial specialist though. So this route may not suit him too much. Also Chile Martin Vidare, 23-year-old. Has been doing a little bit of racing. Actually rides for a UK-based team, Trinity Racing, with the Czech Tour, and really focusing on the under-23 races at the moment. And Vincenzo Rojas, 21-year-old. He rode the Tour of Turkey and quite a lot of races over in Spain this season. So he's got the miles, kilometers in his legs, has Vincenzo Rojas, still 21 years old. Very good one-day specialist. Now this is a one-day race. This is another attack launched off the front. I think it's Brazil again. They've been very active in the early stages of this race. But it's a long race here. We're only on the 2nd of 9 laps as we make the tight right-hander by the kiosk where you can get your coffee if you need it. But it's a good place to make an attack. The road does get a little bit steeper, but you can see there it's Chile on the front, just stopping anything really getting away. You can see 2 riders for Ecuador in the middle, likely Carapaz and Narvaez, although Novoa will be somewhere in the mix as well. 42 riders in the race. I haven't got any word of anyone, any DNFs at the moment. Let's talk about the 2 riders from Bermuda, Connor White and Caden Hopkins. Connor White, 24 years old. Took the bronze medal in the time trial. He really is a time trial specialist. But he did take gold in the Caribbean Road Championships as well, ahead of Caden Hopkins. So success at a sort of regional level and in the junior race, the younger races as well, under 23s. And Caden Hopkins at 23 years old, 2-time Caribbean Road champion, 5th in the time trial here. So 2 young riders for Bermuda. They're going to work well together. They've got to keep up in the peloton and get everything all back together again. 3 riders for Mexico. Ricardo Pena, 22-year-old, hasn't got a lot of recent results. Again, riding national races in Mexico, so this perhaps a little step up in level for Pena. Thomas Aguirre Garza, again similar to Pena, did ride the Central American and Caribbean Games in the road race, finished 14th in that one. Another little attack going off the front, and this one might have a bit of legs. It's a good place to do it. Still a couple of kilometers from the summit of the climb. Ulysses Alfredo Castillo, based in the US with the Denver Disruptors, riding the US races as well. Lots of stage races out on the US National Series. While again, no attack is being allowed to really get away. There's a few teams trying to control this. Is another rider off the front, but it looks like Chile just controlling things at the moment. Only a few teams to go, folks, and then we'll have been through everybody in the race. Steven Polanco, on his own for the Dominican Republic, rode the Tour of Panama earlier this year. 7th in the road race at the Central American and Caribbean Games. but riding on his own, it's going to be difficult. And now we're seeing a few more attacks off the front. There's a rider for Ecuador, I believe, trying to get in that mix as well, which is certainly what we expected to see. One rider for Honduras as well, Luis Fernando Enrique Lopez, again riding in the national races and riding in a little bit in Colombia, Uruguay. And also on the start list as well, we've got from Peru, Hugo Nestor Ruiz Calais. He took the Omnium title in some style. Well, just losing some pictures in the trees. We see a little bit earlier on in the race, Ecuador, and Novoa was controlling things on the front, but as we hit the climb for the second time, things all just got a little bit more active. 4 riders from Brazil all staying near the front of the race. Solid place to be, you're in complete control of it. Well, this is the opening part of the lap. Well, actually the closing part of the lap, and now it's the opening part of the lap. No prizes for crossing the line first after lap 1. Gotta do it after lap 9. That's the key one, and that is fantastic, isn't it? Flags up there on the bridge overlooking track. Got the Colombia and Ecuador flags, and despite a Venezuela flag, of course. Flags of the host nation, Chile. Someone with a dog there, make sure it's on a lead. I've seen too many races with where a dog ends up getting involved in the peloton. Tends to not end well. What's that giant building, you're asking? Well, that is the Gran Torre Santiago. It is the tallest building in South America, the 2nd tallest building in Latin America, and the 5th tallest building in the Southern Hemisphere. Maybe on lap 2 or 3, I'll give you some of the ones that are ahead of it in the rankings, if you like. This is the crash that we saw early on in the first lap. 4 riders from Chile involved, plus 1 from Colombia as well. Harold Tejada from Colombia, one of their big favorites for the race. Well, a little bit of damage on Tejada. His left-hand side. It's just not what you want, of course, early in the race to have your shorts ripped, and it just makes it a little bit more uncomfortable. But Colombia have those 4 riders in the team. They'll be able to help Tejada out. They pace them back up very, very quickly, and he can go back to the team car with a rider, another rider, get patched up, get the help he needs. Maybe not on the climb. You're not allowed to hold on, although if you have medical attention, it's okay to get the help when you need it. But certainly on this stretch, down by, well, a little, not quite here, but certainly down by the river as we build towards the finish line, that's a good place to drop back to the team car. I think we've just lost pictures from the park at the moment. I do apologize for that, folks. The live pictures as soon as we can. How tall is the building? How tall is the Gran Torre Santiago? Great question. The architectural height is 300 meters, that's 984 feet. The top floor, where there's an observation deck, 360 views of Santiago, is at 261 meters, 856 feet. There is the cable car, the gondola in the park. You probably get some pretty good views of the race from there. Promise not to talk about the building too much. But if we've not got much else to talk about, then why not? It was construction began in 2006. There was a little bit of a delay due to money. Structural work completed in 2011. It became the tallest building in Latin America in 2012, and it was completed in 2013. The observation deck opened in 2015. Now we've got two riders out in front. We're back with the racing. We're out of the park. We've been over the climb. Disappointing not to be able to see it, but it's one rider from Ecuador in there. It may be Novoa. It may be just be keeping Carapaz and Narvaez safely in the peloton for now. Ecuador have got options in this race, just the three riders, but all three of them, you would not be surprised to see on the top step or any step of the podium as this race progresses. And obviously, if they're on the podium, the race will have finished. So I'm expecting to see Ecuador play this one pretty smart. We'll let you know which rider it is in a second, but good to have the racing pictures. And this little break has just got an advantage over the rest of the peloton. These little dips, the slip roads onto the wider road. We did cross the sort of main freeway as well, running through Santiago. They're good ways to launch little attacks. And I'll tell you a story about Richard Carapaz, but only if this is Carapaz. If not, I'll save it for a little bit later, of how he lost a race earlier this season on just one of those little rises onto a main road. Two riders have a break, and they have it established. This is the first break that we've really seen. They've probably got about 10 to 15 seconds at the moment over the peloton. And the peloton ended up with a rider from Ecuador out in front, which they probably would not have wanted to have happened because of the strength and depth within this three-man Ecuador squad. So we make our way back. We're out of the park, and a little bit of a bump in the road there. Oh, it's crossing the railway line or tram line there, which is the problem. These riders looking over their shoulders, but they've got to work together here. Again, I'm sure many of you know road cycling really well, but if there's one or two of you that are new to it, welcome along. It's great to have you. These two riders are both aiming for the same thing, but in order to do it, to have the best chance, they have to now work together. They're not trying to race each other out of the race. They have to take turns on the front so that one rider can get in the slipstream and one rider's putting the maximum effort in. If they're able to do that, they've got to ride harder than in the peloton. In the peloton, you have the teams on the front that are pulling, and then the riders that are a bit further back in the peloton are able to sit in the slipstream and sort of just move with the peloton. Of course, you've got to pedal, you've got to keep moving, but it's a lot less effort than what these two out in front are doing. So these two lead riders in this break have to work together. They have to work hard. It's a big effort so that they can get that break established. Once it's established, anything over a minute really, then it may sort of settle down. But they're going to have to work together for a long part of this race if it's going to have any hope at all. They've got enough. They should be able to hold it as we cross the line to end the second lap. But it'll be, once we get back into the park and the climb, which hopefully we're able to bring you some pictures from the road, that is when things, we'll see maybe the riders try and extend that gap, and maybe you have more riders come off the front of the peloton. So we're 45 minutes gone, and the two lead riders are going to come across the line to bring the second of 9 laps to an end. It's the first break that is properly established in this race, and that is absolutely a key part. The gap is not big. It's maybe about 15 seconds. We'll get a time check shortly as they cross the line. Well, I think it's actually closed in a little bit. Maybe about 10 seconds or so, perhaps even less than that. So this one I don't think is going to get away, but lap 2 comes to an end. And we got to keep on going. Big group, all still together. 122.5 kilometers to go. And now you can see when the peloton's in a line like that, that tells you they are going well. So it is Caden Hopkins from Bermuda and Richard Carapaz from Ecuador. So Carapaz, the favorite for the race. He is the Olympic champion. Don't worry too much about the other positions at the moment because they are going to change around so much in the peloton. It's the lead group right now. They do have about a 10-second advantage, Carapaz and Hopkins, but Caden Hopkins decided he's going to get some good experience of riding alongside the Olympic champion, Richard Carapaz. So this is when we make the first right turn over the bridge. And just in front of the rider, so you might see the law school building just up to the right of the University of Chile. Now we're on the Avenida Santa Maria. Long stretch where the road just gently starts to rise back uphill. Well, Carapaz getting in the break early, showing he will have the legs for this race for sure. So experienced now at 30 years old from Ecuador. He's probably the best, one of the best climbers in the field as well. He's changing teams actually, Richard Carapaz, or changed teams a couple of seasons ago. He rode for Ineos Grenadiers alongside his teammate Jonathan Narvaez until 2022, and now rides for EF Education Easy Post, the US-based team. Getting my Ineos riders mixed up a little bit earlier. Carapaz taking the silver medal in the time trial. Had a decent little end of the season. He was in the EF Education Easy Post squad for the Tour de France. He had a decent Dauphiné, 36th in the Dauphiné. It's a pretty solid start to the season. Injured on stage 2 at the Tour de France. Massive shame for Carapaz. Couldn't go any further in the race. Had a couple of months to recover from that injury. Came back at the Giro della Toscana, which is a Europe Tour race in Tuscany, Italy. Beautiful race, beautiful part of the world. And Carapaz ended up in a situation like this, much further on in the race with Pavel Sivakov. And he knew Carapaz and Sivakov, the French rider, know each other well because of Carapaz's time at Ineos Grenadiers. But Sivakov made a little dig just, I think it was about 2 kilometers to go in the race, on a rise up onto the main road, and Carapaz missed it. And Sivakov was off and got the win. So Carapaz second in that race. He raced the next day, 7th in the Coppa Sabatini, just shy of 200 kilometers that race. Sivakov was second, Mark Hirschi taking the win. Carapaz finished in 7th. This was all building. It's one of the last monuments of the season, in Lombardia, from Como to Bergamo in Italy, and Carapaz had his eyes on that one. Ended up finishing in 8th, and that was his last start until we got to the Pan American Games, where he was second in the time trial. So Carapaz on the front with Caden Hopkins from Bermuda. Just about see Hopkins and Carapaz up in front. Carapaz mentored by, when he was at school, by Juan Carlos Rosero, a rider that went to the Olympic Games in Barcelona, became a teacher. Also Jonathan Narvaez and Jonathan Caicedo also came through the work that that man did on Carlos Rosero. He started a cycling club at the school, and in so many sports you just have that, sometimes it's just that one person that it takes to create that little bit of interest and drive athletes forward. Well, it's been a good career for Carapaz, most notably taking the Olympic gold medal as well. Ecuadorian road race champion. Won the Tour de Suisse in 2021. Won the mountains classification at the Vuelta a España as well in 2022. Not an easy thing to do, the polka dot jersey. Carapaz is one of the best riders in the world. He's had 3 stage wins in the Tour de France, Giro d'Italia as well. And of course, Carapaz winning the Giro d'Italia in 2019. So that is just how good Carapaz is. Makes him by far the favourite for this race, but doesn't always play out that way. We've seen many favourites over the years just struggle if you get the tactics wrong, if you go too hard too early. Things can all come apart. We're back in the park, the Metropolitan Park. Looks like it's all potentially coming back together there. It's just quite difficult to make out what's going on at the front of the race. Starting to see on the 3rd lap, 1 or 2 riders start to struggle with the pace a little bit. Camargo from Brazil off the back. There's Thomas Conte. He's had a busy program on the track as well as Thomas Conte. Rodriguez for Uruguay off the back as well. Now these 3 riders maybe just try and work together a little bit and stay in touch with the peloton on the climb. It's not a good sign if you've been dropped on lap 3. The spectators have come out in force in the Metropolitan Park of Santiago, full of picnic areas, swimming pools, trails, gardens. The Japanese garden looks particularly lovely. Got the gondola, lots of trees, just so much to do. And you get great views of the city as well. The Terros de San Cristobal is the one of the best viewpoints in the park. That is where the statue of the Virgin Mary is. We saw that earlier in the broadcast. There's a zoo in here as well. There's the botanical gardens, the Japanese gardens, lots of trails for walking. Some decent routes to work your way around in the park. This is what's happening at the back of the peloton. There's a few riders dropped on the climb. We're on lap 3 of the men's road race. We had Richard Carapaz and Caden Hopkins up the front. On the second lap, they did cross the line on that second lap. 2 minutes 50. 22 minutes 50 was the lap time for the second lap. Probably looking at this road race lasting round about 3.5 hours or so, maybe a little less. Give you an idea on the sort of rough timings. Everyone's still in the race. The rider from the independent athlete squad, Gilles, was a few minutes back, and Rodriguez from Chile as well, and that second lap was a little bit further back, Jose Luis Rodriguez. So Carson Mattern was nearly 2 minutes back for Canada as well. We did see one of the Canadian riders off the back of a little on the back of the peloton, but they could have been dropping back to the team car, could have been collecting bottles, certainly from Canada's point of view, where they've got a few riders, 4 riders in the squad. And this is, I was looking at Carapaz and Caden Hopkins, who made that attack. Well, there is Caden Hopkins, 5th in the time trial a week ago. Back in the peloton, that's the live action, making our way up the climb to the statue of the Virgin Mary, and then it's all descending all the way back to the start-finish line. Possibility of a little bit of rain later on in the race. Hopefully it doesn't come. The roads were still pretty wet at the start, and you can see what looks like actually there's been a little bit of fresh snow up in the hills. The Andes Mountains overlook the city of Santiago. As I was saying, you can get to the 3 ski resorts or snowboard resorts, if that's your thing, within sort of 60 to 90 minutes. The roads can get a little bit fun though, so if you're planning it, make sure you've got appropriate tires and snow chains. Although we're into springtime in Santiago, summer is approaching, and not expecting too many snowfalls, but even at this time of year in the mountains, you can still get a lot of snow falling. This is where we are, the Providencia commune of Santiago, with the park, which sits right in the middle here, and it's given us a great vantage point, a great place for this race, with the roads that make their way up through the city, up through the park, and as we see Hopkins and Carapaz cross the line again. Well, Santiago, founded 482 years ago. It's in the central part of Chile. A landscape of the Andes in the background. It can get pretty wet in this part of the world, but mostly in the winter, which is behind us now in the southern hemisphere. The city sits at an altitude of 570 meters, or 1,870 feet. As we can see the road snaking up the hill to an altitude of 758 meters. A good amount of climbing, 181 meters of climbing per lap. Which gives us just 1,629 meters of total climbing in this race. So hilly, lumpy is how we would describe it. The climbs at this stage of the this part where the team cars are, the peloton, just slightly out of shot, around about 5.5% at the moment, enough to properly test the legs. It does a little bit lower down the climb, get up to like 7.8%, 6% for a little bit, but it's all good. See the riders descend. There's one part of the descent that's gets up at 5 and a bit percent, but it's a much more gradual descent all the way down, and pretty tough for these motos to keep up on the way down. You've got some tight turns as well. But these men are all used to it. Used to road races in particular at a major event where it's usually over a circuit. Sometimes in a major event they take you out around 70-kilometer loop, and then we have a slightly shorter circuit to finish. It just depends what roads are available, because obviously you have to close lots of roads, and that's not an easy thing to do, as we just go through one of the entrances or exits of the park. Well, the Santiago population, 6.2 million. The greater metro area, just under 7 million. Big city. Biggest city in Chile, of course. The capital right in the middle of the country, central Chile. Well, they've had, sadly, you get a number of earthquakes in this part of the world, and it does mean that not too many historical buildings from the Spanish colonial period are left. The city having to be rebuilt. Although the Plaza de Armas still stands, of course. The cathedral in the central square. So we're out of the park, and we're back with the riders, and you can see break is over. Carapaz back with his team in the peloton. It was a good effort, but early on in the race, pretty difficult to get those breakaways and make it stick. So Carapaz no doubt will go again, and now you see the rider from Chile on the front. That is Martin Vidaurre. So Chile, of course, getting so much support out on the road. Brave attack for this man. He's got number 31 on his back. Daure, the 23-year-old, been racing with Trinity Racing in the UK. So he's been on the continental circuit, the races over there. Rode the Czech Tour back in July. Pretty good race on the Europe Tour, UCI Europe Tour. Still a young rider, still learning his craft. And this is a good experience for him. Actually went to the Youth Olympic Games in 2018. Big event. Finished 7th in the road race at the Youth Olympic Games. Did that car hit the barrier, or did something hit the barrier? Please pay attention. It's 35 seconds for the Chilean rider. I don't think the peloton, we've got all sorts going on at the front there. Rider drifting over to the right-hand side. There may be an attack just coming off the front there, and the pace has gone up. We've got a little group riding away here, and they're going to try and get this all back together. I see one of the Canadian riders just shutting it down. One of the commissaires just having a word. We've got motorbikes up there. Commissaire with the lead rider from Chile. It's going to be very, very difficult for this man to solo from here. Again, if you're watching this for the first time, he's out in front, but we've still got over 2 hours of racing to go. If he does solo this to victory, personally, can't see it happening. you never know. You want to encourage them along. It would be absolutely remarkable, and it's a very brave attack that he's putting together here. Getting some time out on the front. Well, the noise obviously ramping up. We're getting towards the end of this third lap. To the away from the park, the main part of town, where the roads are a little bit wider. People going about their day. Some people will be out all day watching the road racing action. Some people just perhaps pop into the shops and stumbled across a fantastic road race. We've had a couple of attacks early. This one is stuck. We had Hopkins and Carapaz go on the second lap. Now Vidaurre out on his own, had over 30 seconds. The peloton will be aware of that gap. And we'll just make sure it doesn't get too far ahead. 23 years old, he's from Santiago. He started off really as a cross-country mountain bike racer. So many riders in cycling at the moment are coming across from cyclocross and mountain biking, but he was actually, when it comes to mountain biking, he's got a couple of medals already. Second in the Pan American Games this year, just last week, in the mountain biking, cross-country. Canada taking the win. It was a very popular medal for Chile. But he's strong on the road as well. He took a bronze 4 years ago in Lima in mountain biking as well. Also the World Under-23 cross-country champion in 2021. A couple of years ago, he was doing very well in the Under-23 World Cup. So he is a great bike rider. Now turning his attention to the road. Did compete in 2020 in the mountain bike racing at the Tokyo Olympic Games. Well, 2021 at the 2020 Summer Olympics. You can see he's got the Olympic rings tattooed on his right arm as well. So many athletes do, showing that he is just a talented guy on a bike, whether it's road or cross-country. This is a different test to the cross-country, though. As I was saying, a lot of riders switching across. We see likes of Tom Pidcock going from cross-country to road and having great success in both, and cyclocross. Wout van Aert as well, another one, cyclocross as well. Cross to the road and back again. Martin Vidaurre crosses the line to complete the third lap, and now we've got starting to form behind him, but the peloton not too far back. 105 kilometers of this race to go. We've got Brazil, Argentina, Mexico in there. Now, if this a rider from Colombia, I'll try and spot just who it is from Colombia. But Vidaurre has the advantage at the moment. Ocampo for Colombia is the rider in that group. We have Rosas from Argentina in there as well. Mariotto from Brazil. Ricardo Peña-Salas in there. He was on the track as well here at the Pan American Games. Vidaurre already has one medal. It'd be some story if he could get a second road race, but I think as we get further and further through this race, the big names may start to just close this down. Vidaurre out in front. He had really just about 20 seconds over the next group of chasers. Castillo from Mexico, Victor Ocampo, Rosas from Argentina, man from Honduras as well, Lopez in that little group that was chasing, Mariotto from Brazil, Mariotto Sessler from Brazil, Ricardo Peña Salas from Mexico. Then the main group of riders that were about 38 seconds back. That's where the peloton is at the moment. Now the danger for the peloton is if Vidaurre and the 6 riders behind all join, you've got a group of 7. You can see the 6 riders chasing Vidaurre. If a group of 7 forms, that they catch Vidaurre, which I think is maybe likely, depends how the next climb goes on lap 4, then that group of 7, if it forms, could start to cause some problems for the peloton, because it'd be a decent sized group. They would probably have about, by the time they catch Vidaurre, around about 35-40 seconds. If they can get that up to the minute, a minute gap, then the peloton will have to take a bit of notice, and then you'll start to see perhaps Ecuador now, Boa, Carapaz and Narvaez cross the line pretty near the front of the peloton, which suggests they're just alert to any danger. Ecuador are 3 strong riders in this race. Chile had one of their riders, Rojas, near the front as well. And the Chilean rider can try and stop the peloton a little bit from getting too organised, just disrupt things a little bit. It's all part of the tactics of road racing. But a group of 7, 6 at the moment. There you can see they are reeling in Vidaurre. He's just sitting up a little bit. It's been a big, big effort from Vidaurre to get ahead. But it's probably in his interest to join this group behind. Can they all sustain it on the climb? That is the big question. There's a lot of work for them to do on the climb. We're only on the 4th lap, and that climb is still to come. So we haven't hit it yet. We still got to do the climbing 5 times, including this lap. And with that being the case, I'm still expecting to see some more activity from riders that are just gently cruising in the peloton at the moment and seeing how this race shapes up, and then they'll perhaps make a plan as things progress throughout the race. We've still got a long, long way to go. There's all sorts of different ebbs and flows throughout a race, a road race like this. 157.5 kilometers, not the longest, not the shortest either. And we take the left turn and start to work up towards the park. Avenida Pedro de Valvida is the road that we're on at the moment. And he was a Spanish conquistador and the first royal governor of Chile between 1540 and 1547. And this is where we start climbing. We're on the road named after that chap. Now after 4.6 kilometers, we head into the park and see the park up ahead. It's just a tiny little section that just reaches up to 8% as you're coming through roundabout where these riders are at the moment. Well, the group of 7 riders has formed, and as we sort of expected, 6 riders chasing 1, you'd always fancy the 6 riders to do it. Now we go into the park. Just done 4.59 kilometers of the race. I think we're under 100 kilometers to go. On the 4th lap of the men's road race here, Santiago 2023. Back in the park. Vidaurre for Chile. Went ahead on lap 3, a bit of a solo breakaway. Had 20 seconds as he crossed the line to bring lap 3 to a close. And now he is in a group with Castillo of Mexico, Victor Ocampo from Colombia, Laureano Rosas from Argentina. From Honduras is one rider, Luis Fernando Enrique Lopez. He's in there. Sessler from Brazil. Ricardo Peña Salas from Mexico. So this group has to try and get established. Well, it is established, but they have to now think about working together. On the front right now, it is Ocampo for Colombia. And Victor Ocampo. Certainly, Colombia have 4 chances to win this race. He's a really good sprinter. In the event a group like this was able to stay away, and Ocampo would be perhaps your man in the sprint, but Colombia wanted someone in the break. Ecuador have missed it. They had Carapaz early on. On the 2nd lap, Carapaz was in the lead. Little break with Caden Hopkins from Bermuda. Things starting to all change around again in the peloton. We've got Camargo there off the back of Caden Hopkins, perhaps just in front of him. It is Caden Hopkins. Now they see there are 2 riders from Ecuador on the front trying to reel in the group up ahead, and this is what I expected Ecuador to do. They've taken control of things and they put an injection of pace into this race, and they're off. So Ecuador, well, one of the Ecuadorian riders just drifted into the back of this group. This is the part of the race where you would expect things to just come alive, and on this around about 4-kilometer climb up to the summit at 758 meters. We'll see it all getting a little bit active, and maybe the end of one big peloton in this race. Just over 40 riders in the race, and most races you would still see a big group, but here it's, I think that maybe Carapaz again going off the front. Had to really change his plans around for the season after the injury at the Tour de France. But Ecuador with 3 good riders. Again, 2 riders in this little breakaway as well. And that is very, very handy. 2 riders that know each other pretty well. Got a group further back we were just catching sight of. So 3 groups, main groups on the road. We've got the lead group still in front, but Ecuador injecting the pace and perhaps actually catching up with the remnants of that early breakaway. And now Ecuador going again on this climb. 2 riders at the front, and they all want to get it all set. I think Canada in there as well. Ulysses Castillo off the back. Mexican rider. So we'll work our way up the climb through the trees in this beautiful park here in Santiago on San Cristobal Hill. It's the 3rd highest point in the city, named by the Spanish conquistadors for St. Christopher. Getting near the summit of the climb as well. Well, this hill started to get used in around 1903 with the observatory now known as the Manuel Foster Observatory. 22-meter statue, the Blessed Virgin Mary on top. There's an amphitheater, a chapel. Chilean National Zoo is in the park as well, nearby. Just part of the many attractions here in the Metropolitan Park. And Ecuador with one rider off the front, likely to be Carapaz. Right about lap 4 or 5 was when I was expecting him to go. He's gone a little bit early, if I'm being honest, just due to, but that was due to the activity that was happening up ahead on the road. And we'll see riders starting to get dropped a little bit more. Working our way through. We're on the 4th lap here, 4 of 9, 17.5 kilometer circuits. Still working our way up, and then we'll start to descend. Actually on the descent now. Well, earlier on lap 3, rider from Chile, the host nation, Martin Vidaurre, man that's already picked up a silver medal in cross-country mountain biking in Santiago 2023, went on a lone attack. He was caught by a group of 6 riders, but it's all been blown apart on the climb of San Cristobal Hill. He's had his moment at the front of the race, but now the likes of Narvaez and Carapaz from Ecuador getting very, very active in the race. And Sepulveda from Argentina, 32-year-old, very experienced, good all-round rider, likely to be active as well. I think Canada on the front as well, trying to get to the front. So again, apologies, just losing pictures from the, particularly of the descent out of the park and back to the city. Well, this was at the end of lap 3, and Vidaurre just had about 20 seconds as they crossed the line, and without pictures, we'll see what happens once they exit the climb, exit the descent, and come through this sort of final 8 kilometers of the circuit where things are a little bit more open. Good place to try and cement a break or an attack. So you see some riders quite like an attack on the descent. They'll come over the top, and where some riders will be like, phew, we've made it. And some riders go, right, that's a good point. Maybe some riders take it on some fluid at the top or whatever they choose to do. And then other riders that love descending will go for it. So it's where quite a lot of action that could happen. It's where Vidaurre went for his solo attack, but it was all reeled in pretty quickly, and we'll catch the group when they come around the roundabouts, the La Pyramide roundabout. Again, that's a really good spot for an attack as well, the roundabout. It's after 10.3 kilometers of the lap, and kind of work your way all the way around. So it's one of those spots where, again, you could catch a rider napping and just launch an attack. It'll depend if there's a group of 5-6 riders on the final lap. When we come off of the descent, you will see some riders being very, very keen to not let it go to a sprint. And after about 10-11 kilometers, maybe they'll try and solo it, go from there. The riders that want it to be a sprint, I'm thinking the likes of Victor Ocampo from Colombia, will be working hard to ensure that nobody can get away. So you're looking for the teams that are able to get maybe 2 riders in a break. Ecuador, Colombia, possibly Argentina. If you can get 2 riders in, which Ecuador were doing, then you've got a great chance of being able to really control the race and the tactics. There's one of the neutral service cars up in front, a couple of spare bikes on there. Hopefully they're not needed. We've already had a crash in this race, only about 3 kilometers in. Thankfully, everyone was able to continue. That is that's the most important thing, checking things out. Everyone's still in the race, 42 riders. That was at the last check after 3 laps of the race. Already done over 50 kilometers of this race. We're well under, just under 100 kilometers to go as we pick up the live pictures again. We're out of the park, and again, this is another good spot coming out of the park, and a kilometer or so out of the park as the motorbike feeling that one over the speed bumps. That was the sound of either the camera person or the driver, the rider. This sharp left-hander as well. These are all key points for the run-in of this race. A little bit later on, of course, but we get plenty of look laps to see how it's all shaping up. You can see one of the riders from Bermuda just sitting up. I think that is Connor White, bronze medalist in the time trial. Big, powerful athlete, built like a time trialist. And there is Rosas from Argentina. This is the group now at the front, so there we see Narvaez from Ecuador, and he's trying to go off the front. Is Rosas going to be able to go with them? Carapaz and Narvaez were injected a huge amount of pace on the last climb. Carapaz is just at the end of that group. He's obviously said to Narvaez, go for it. Now these two, they can argue, they're looking for a bit of help. They tried to go, but Rosas didn't get much help from Narvaez. But maybe that was the plan all along. Jonathan Narvaez perhaps just saying, no, I'm not letting you go. We want to have Carapaz in this group as well. Back in the bunch, things all just a little bit calmer. Walter Vargas there with the number 8, the winner of the time trial. Could do a good job leading any riders out if it comes to a sprint. Harold Tejada there as well with Vargas, and Vargas will be protecting Tejada. It's all very, very active. Colombia do have a rider in this break as well, and that is why Vargas and Tejada quite happy in the peloton. And Tejada just going to drop back to the Colombian team car there with the number 1 on it. They'll probably be taking some water on board. And he'll shift that back to the peloton. As we see Vidaire still in the group at the front of the race. As we're just watching Tejada, he's looks like he's just taking some bottles on board, or a little chat. Don't hold on for too long. Well, the 26-year-old Jonathan Narvaez from Ecuador, really good classics rider, puncher rider. This terrain suits him very, very well. Rides for Ineos Grenadiers. Took a stage of the Tour de France in the Giro d'Italia, do beg your pardon, in 2020. Took stage 12 of the race there. Stage 12. It's a 204 kilometer stage, intermediate stage, not the lumpiest of stages. Narvaez winning the Tour of Austria this year. Very, very very good win. He'd like some major medals. I'm sure this is a race that he will want to get on the podium on for sure. Both riders from Ecuador will. There's a lot of other riders that definitely see themselves as being able to get on the podium. Brian Sanchez in the group for Colombia. This is the lead group on the road. You can see after the climb it has grown out a little bit. Brian Sanchez was on the track there. We've got a rider from Canada, Riley Pickrell in there. He's the experienced rider, most experienced rider of that Canadian squad. So it's a decent group here out in front. It won't be too long until we complete another lap. Harold Quintana, who went down pretty hard on that first lap back to the team. Call him Harold, I do apologize, Hector Quintana. So here's the group. Out in front, see Carapaz with the number 15 on his back. Two riders from Ecuador in there. See, we have Narvaez just out on the left. He's done a turn on the front, and you know, this may be the group that sticks. Big splits in the peloton after a rider from Chile was able to break away Vidaurre, and that caused some of the favorites to get active, try and shut it down. A group of 6 riders caught up with Vidaurre, and now we've got a bigger group that's come together on the climb. 2 from Colombia, 2 from Ecuador, Canada are in there, Argentina are in there with Uruguay as well. And that man Vidaurre still there as well. So this group really should be able to control things from here, particularly Colombia and Ecuador, that came in as probably the strongest nations in this race as they complete lap 4, which means we have just 5 to go. 87.5 to go in the race. Halfway round this lap, we'll be at the halfway point of the race. Rosas.
Siempre debes decir, por donde quiera que tú estés, ecuatoriano soy. Y mañana recordarás todo ese inmenso cielo azul que un día cobijó. Ese amor que tienes aquí y te hará regresar al fin a tu lindo Ecuador, a tu lindo Ecuador, a tu lindo Ecuador. Ecuador.
Podría decir que un ciclopaseo. La parte de atrás del pelotón, completamente despreocupados por la parte de adelante, donde seguramente estará la definición y la carrera. 2 ecuatorianos, 2 colombianos, un canadiense, un argentino, un hondureño. Y atrás, sin ningún tipo de afán, Wesley Prickler a rueda y siempre marcando a Richard Carapaz. A donde va el de Carchi, va el canadiense. Pasando entonces por la zona de avituallamiento, por la zona de hidratación. Vemos entonces a Richard Carapaz, el campeón olímpico, buscando su primera medalla panamericana. Ahí también vemos a Eduardo Sepúlveda, a Víctor Ocampo, por Luis Aular también, el venezolano. Nicolás Sessler. Y a Eric Antonio Fagundes de Uruguay. Saltaron 2. Persiguen 10. De atrás que empiezan a apretar un poquito para que no se les vaya a escapar mucho el grupo de 10, 11 corredores que persiguen a los dos cabezas de carrera. Entonces a un nuevo ascenso en esta prueba de ruta de fondo. Entregará medalla de oro, plata y bronce. Ya Estados Unidos. Sumó su quinto título en Juegos Panamericanos. Lauren Stephens se convierte en la campeona con mayor edad en la historia de unos Juegos Panamericanos. 36 años y 305 días. La plata fue para Miriam Núñez de Ecuador. Y el bronce para Aguamarina Espínola de Paraguay. Vidaurre a rueda de Carapaz y cerrando el grupo Brian Sánchez. empieza a romper el grupo, la cabeza de carrera en este tercer ascenso. Y Jonathan Narváez es el hombre que pone el paso. Es la cabeza de carrera, el hombre de Ecuador, el hombre de Líneos. Ahí lo ven ustedes sobre su bicicleta roja, casco blanco. Y cerrando entonces el grupo, Brian Sánchez. Con Riley Prickle. Richard Carapaz y Martín Vidaurre. El ataque de Jonathan Narváez es demoledor. Pone el ritmo, pero ya vienen a cerrarle el paso. Por ahí está Nicolas Sessler de Brasil.
Pensaba que estaba mal. Vamos despacito, vamos dos pasar con nosotros, que viene un tío ahí atrás. Y nos quedamos con este tío.
Nuevamente el ataque de Jonathan Narváez en pedales.
Sí, quédate hasta que venga un ciclista.
Cerrando el grupo, Sessler de Brasil. Está por ahí también Luis Fernando Enrique López de Honduras.
Entonces detrás.
Y aquí está entonces el pelotón. Aquí está trabajando entonces el pelotón en cabeza del equipo chileno, con Quintana, con Rodríguez, con Rojas. equipo tico, equipo canadiense. No tiene mucho sentido que el equipo chileno esté trabajando tan fuerte, entendiendo que tienen a Martín Vidaurre en la cabeza de carrera. A menos que quieran hacer la conexión y que sea otro el que quiera definir, pero en los cuatro creo que Vidaurre es el de mejor performance para una prueba como esta. Es uno de los hombres que más recorrido tiene. Habría que entender un poco el tema de la estrategia del equipo chileno. Trabaja muy fuerte atrás, poniendo el paso.
Bueno, es perfecto, ese sitio no hay solo, no hay coche, es
Vamos ya entonces buscando entonces el grupo cabeza de carrera. Con Vidaurre, Richard Carapaz, con Narváez, Víctor Ocampo, también trabaja el equipo colombiano, Eduardo Sepúlveda de Argentina, Honor Luis Aular de Venezuela, nueve corredores entonces. Que le sacan ya tiempo de ventaja al equipo persecutor, al grupo persecutor. Aquí vemos entonces el grupo, cabeza de carrera, que se organiza, que se ordena. Richard Carapaz dándole algunas instrucciones a Jonathan Narváez. Los ecuatorianos ahí que se comunican. Recordemos que tenemos radios de comunicación interna entre los corredores y los carros. También metiéndose en disputa Asconegui, Roderick Asconegui de Uruguay y Alex Ulaluj de Atletas Independientes, 25 años y es de Guatemala. Ya en la parte de la avenida Nueva Costanera. Para ir a buscar la Plaza de la Aviación. Lo vemos entonces a Asconegui, Roderick. Tratando de sacar segundos importantes. Atentos entonces a la diferencia, la chismosa entregando la diferencia. Y vemos entonces el carro que le pertenece a Chile, seleccionador nacional, para atender y asistir a Martín Vidaurre. Vemos a Fagundes, Uruguay. Rosas y Eduardo Sepúlveda, dos corredores argentinos en la parte de adelante, y también Víctor Ocampo cerrando el grupo. Entonces, por las 2 horas de competencia. Vamos entonces a un nuevo paso por la meta. Sufriendo entonces Asconegui. Apretando el paso el uruguayo. Adelante entonces la definición de la carrera. Dos ecuatorianos, dos argentinos, dos uruguayos, un uruguayo, perdón. Un brasilero. Un chileno. Vemos entonces el grupo persecutor. Harold Tejada sufriendo muchísimo en la parte de atrás. Vemos entonces a por Luis Aular. Jonathan Narváez, que se abre del grupo. Y viene el ataque de Richard Carapaz a recortar la diferencia. Dos horas de competencia. Aquí está entonces la definición de la carrera con los favoritos. Y nos vamos a un nuevo ascenso. Aquí vemos entonces a Brian Sánchez cerrando el grupo. Rueda de Luis Fernando Enrique López de Honduras.
más compactos a partir de... Ahora esperamos. Esperamos por otro. Me dice, avanza, olvídate de tu tío y va a estar delante. Pero no está partido, está un poco compacto. Pero no puedo.
¿Cuántas vueltas le faltan?
Tenemos el pelotón entonces buscando recortar diferencias con la cabeza de carrera. Aquí está entonces Asconegui y el equipo chileno que sigue trabajando y tiene a Martín Vidaurre adelante. Sigo sin entender por qué trabaja tanto el equipo chileno si tiene a Vidaurre adelante. Entonces se confirma el primer retiro del equipo chileno. Ya solo quedan 3 en competencia del equipo local. Se despide entonces José Luis Rodríguez Aguilar. Quedan en competencia Quintana, Vidaurre y Rojas por el equipo chileno. Vamos ya por las 2 horas 14 minutos de competencia. 155 kilómetros. Circuito de 17.5 kilómetros. Estamos pasando por la parte alta del circuito. 800 metros de desnivel.
Vamos adelante. Vamos adelante.
Entramos ya entonces al descenso, la cabeza de carrera. Están los ecuatorianos, el brasilero, los colombianos, los argentinos, el hondureño, el chileno, el uruguayo trabajando. Luis también, el venezolano. Dos horas 17 minutos y nos ya vamos a meter a la avenida Costanera Sur.
necesario para que nos enseñe.
Pidiendo asistencia entonces López de Honduras. También Pickrell de Canadá. También Narváez. Cabeza de carrera a 3 minutos 30 del grupo y tratando de cazar el grupo a 1:39. Mientras que Narváez recibe instrucciones desde el carro. Algo de alimentación también para él, trabajando siempre para Richard Carapaz. Sigue trabajando en solitario Roderick Asconegui.
Más adelante, más adelante. Al lado, al lado. Allá, al lado. Sí.
Sí. 33 años para el uruguayo. Aquí está entonces la asistencia para el hondureño.
A la izquierda ahora. Más adelante.
Sigue el uruguayo trabajando en solidario. Buscando un nuevo paso por la meta. Eduardo Sepúlveda que pide atención. Un esfuerzo tremendo. Del uruguayo. entonces Eduardo Sepúlveda recibiendo indicaciones. Vamos ya llegando a la Plaza de la Aviación, lugar de la meta de este circuito de 17.5 kilómetros. Y viene entonces la cabeza de carrera para marcar un nuevo parcial. Recordemos que no hay bonificaciones. Eduardo Sepúlveda, Fagundes, Víctor Ocampo, Narváez, Sessler, Vidaurre, Carapaz, y Asconegui trabajando en solitario para intentar cazar el grupo. Mientras el ritmo lo pone Jonathan Narváez. Asconegui que no se rinde para lograr conectar al grupo. Él contra el viento y contra 12 ciclistas adelante que llevan los relevos.
Claro que me recuerdo las cosas que pasaron en la vuelta en Chile y buena, buenísima. Había siempre de relevos.
Cabeza de carrera entonces, superioridad numérica. Para los argentinos, ecuatorianos y colombianos. Eduardo Sepúlveda cerrando el grupo. Aquí viene entrando entonces el grupo persecutor. Sin esfuerzo, simplemente girando alrededor del circuito, sin ningún tipo de trabajo que exija o que pretenda buscar recortar la diferencia con la cabeza de carrera. Ahora es Víctor Ocampo. Vemos a Richard Carapaz. Facundo es el hombre del Caja Rural. Está por ahí Laureano Rojas de Argentina, que logró acomodarse para buscar la posibilidad, pensando en que pueda ser Álvaro Sepúlveda. Y ahora es el equipo brasilero que trabaja. En la cabeza de carrera, en la fuga, está Nicolás Esler. Los compañeros Camargo, Ormense y Fonseca da Silva poniendo el paso. Asconegui intentando conectar con el grupo, sigue trabajando en solitario. Dos minutos de diferencia entre Asconegui y el grupo de cabeza. Y 1 minuto 20, perdón, y 3:20 respecto al grupo que trabaja sin ningún esfuerzo. Intenta romper el grupo Brasil. A la respuesta está Bermuda, también Canadá. Buscando recortar algo de diferencia. Empieza a sufrir Brian Sánchez, colombiano, en el ascenso. Sin duda alguna, en esta etapa o en esta carrera, si hubiera premio para la combatividad, habría que dársela a Asconegui, que ha trabajado en solitario y no se rinde. Quiere sí o sí cazar el grupo cabeza de carrera. Está en medio de los dos grupos. con diferencia de 2 minutos con el grupo persecutor y tratando de cazar al grupo de carrera, de cabeza de carrera, a 1:20. No se rinde Asconegui. Aquí vemos la panorámica de Santiago. La comuna de Providencia, lugar designado para este circuito panamericano de 17.5 kilómetros. El grupo persecutor que todavía no se organiza, todavía no trabaja para recortar diferencias con la cabeza de carrera. Seguramente tendremos la definición en la parte de adelante. Todavía nos resta una buena parte del trazado. Asconegui, que sigue trabajando en solitario, buscando la manera de recortar la diferencia, y empieza el ascenso para el grupo persecutor. Ataque de Vicente Rojas, el chileno. Que piensa llegar a Asconegui y trabajar en conjunto para poder meterse y hacer el puente y llegar a la cabeza de carrera. Eso sí, tendrá que trabajar durante 2 minutos en solitario. Se rompió el grupo persecutor. Tenemos a un brasilero, a un chileno, peruano. También está de Bermuda, Caden Hopkins. Intenta organizar el grupo. Por ahora no hay acuerdos, no hay relevos, ataques entre ellos. Y la diferencia sigue aumentando con el grupo de carrera. Y aquí vamos entonces ya en el descenso para el grupo de carrera. No veo a Narváez. No veo a Sánchez. Está Vidaurre, está Sepúlveda, está Carapaz, está Ocampo. Está Pickrell de Canadá. Está Nicolás Sler de Brasil. Horas 42 de competencia. Mirando sobre el circuito panamericano, 17.5 kilómetros. Fagundes, también de Uruguay, permanece en el grupo cabeza de carrera. Este hombre que sigue combatiendo contra el viento.
Hay un otro, Stefan.
Ha hecho prácticamente el recorrido completo en solitario. No se rinde el uruguayo. También está Luis Aular por ahí. De entrar en un sprint tendría muchas posibilidades el venezolano. Una definición al sprint. Me parece que él y Vidaurre podrían, ¿por qué no?, pensar en la definición.
Quedamos con uno detrás. Quedamos con uno detrás.
Brian Sánchez empezará ahora a trabajar con Asconegui. Brian Sánchez rezagado del grupo cabeza de carrera. Por fortuna le llegó a Asconegui para que trabajen en conjunto y puedan volver a conectar. Atacaba Sepúlveda y Prickle, el argentino y el canadiense, en la cabeza de carrera. Luis a rueda de Sessler y empieza a atacar el venezolano y salta Facúndez y también Sessler. Quieren sorprender a Richard Carapaz. Está adelante a rueda de Laureano Rosas, recortando diferencia, pero los de adelante no se dejan sorprender. Nueve corredores en disputa de 3 medallas, la de oro, la de plata y la de bronce, y Asconegui que no se rinde. Brian Sánchez aprovechando del uruguayo para trabajar menos, para hacerse a la rueda y volver a entrar al grupo cabeza de carrera. Narváez en solitario. Se les escapó a todos. Durísimo el ecuatoriano. Y aquí viene entonces el grupo que no se organiza. Obviamente Richard Carapaz no va a pasar a dar el relevo. Y es Eduardo Sepúlveda el que encabeza el grupo. Víctor Ocampo que no quiere dar el relevo. Eduardo Sepúlveda se molesta. Evidentemente Carapaz no lo va a dar, porque Narváez está en la parte de adelante, entonces no tendría por qué trabajar para recortarle diferencia a su compañero. 30 segundos con el grupo. La diferencia de Jonathan Narváez.
En la pasaje estaba en la cabeza de carrera.
Cabeza de carrera entonces para Jonathan Narváez, que buscará entonces el ascenso en solitario. López tratando de sostener el ritmo. Del grupo, que intenta recortar diferencia con Jonathan Narváez. Ahí está en solitario el ecuatoriano. Este año Narváez acumuló una victoria de etapa en el Tour de Austria, la carrera 2.1 y también la general y la clasificación por los puntos. Ganó en la etapa 2, en la etapa 3 y en la etapa 5. Una etapa, la 5, la del Tour de Austria, un poco parecida a la que estamos recorriendo, 155.8 kilómetros. Tenía 3 premios de montaña con un desnivel de casi lo mismo, 800, 900 metros. Muy parecido el recorrido, un poco más quebrado el de esa quinta etapa del Tour de Austria. ¿Y por qué no soñar con la medalla de oro panamericana para Ecuador? Y aquí se va a meter entonces Luis Fernando Enrique López de Honduras al trabajo de Asconegui y de Brian Sánchez, rezagados y tratando de recortar diferencias con el grupo que persigue a Narváez. Vamos entonces a un nuevo ascenso. El grupo persecutor. Entrando. El parque. Esa es la entrada principal en la comuna de Providencia, en Santiago de Chile. Fagundes cerrando el grupo. Prickle detrás, sufriendo. Me parece que es Laureano Rosas el que sufre, el argentino, que no está aguantando el ritmo de escalada. Y Narváez escapado en solitario. Ahí lo ven a la derecha de sus pantallas. Con un tremendo ritmo el del ecuatoriano. Vemos entonces el grupo persecutor. Eduardo Sepúlveda es el que pone el ritmo. Carapaz. Vidaurre. Sessler. Víctor Ocampo cerrando. Fagundes también trabajando.
El ciclista escapado en la cabeza de carrera que representa Ecuador, Jonathan Narváez.
Nuevamente trabajando el equipo para buscar a Narváez, que se les escapó justamente hace ya una vuelta al circuito. Y está trabajando en solitario el ecuatoriano del Ineos, en esta siguiente vuelta. Se empieza a quedar Víctor Ocampo, no aguantó el ritmo. Empieza la selección. Carapaz, penúltimo del grupo. Un ritmo tremendo el de Eduardo Sepúlveda. Martín Vidaurre aguantando.
Está Martín Vidaurre de Chile, está Nicolás Tesler de Brasil, está Enrique Carapaz de Ecuador, está también Antonio Fagundes de Uruguay, Luis Hablar de Venezuela. Muy difícil ahí en esta pasaje por el cerro.
Y Asconegui sigue trabajando. No se rinde el uruguayo. Y adelante el ritmo de Eduardo Sepúlveda es tremendo. Aquí está el paso por meta de Jonathan Narváez. Asconegui que no se rinde. La combatividad del día será para él. Más allá, obviamente, del trabajo de Jonathan Narváez que está haciendo. El grupo persiguiendo. Cabeza de carrera, Jonathan Narváez, lo persiguen Eduardo Sepúlveda, Richard Carapaz. El grupo que trata de organizarse para recortar la diferencia. Panorámica de Santiago, la cordillera de los Andes.
Con amor hoy yo quiero cantar, sí señor, a mi lindo Ecuador. Con amor siempre debes decir, por donde quiera que tú estés, ecuatoriano soy.
Vamos todos Santiago. Comuna de Providencia, lugar de los hechos de esta prueba de ruta. Aquí está entonces el grupo persecutor de Jonathan Narváez, ya en el descenso. Solo quedan 6 corredores, entre ellos Vidaurre, entre ellos Sessler, entre ellos Carapaz, entre ellos Orluis, entre ellos Sepúlveda, Fagundes. Ya los 2 colombianos se despiden de la casa. Fueron licuados rapidito por parte del grupo, por el ritmo que han puesto tanto Orluis Aular de Venezuela como Eduardo Sepúlveda. Evidentemente el único que no trabaja de este grupo, de estos 6 corredores, es Richard Carapaz, su compañero de equipo. Jonathan Narváez es el líder de la carrera y no tendría por qué pasar a hacer el relevo el ecuatoriano. Se guarda entonces Carapaz sin ningún tipo de esfuerzo, dándole la cara al viento. Eso sí, muy fuerte, aguantando el ritmo que pusieron en el ascenso tanto Eduardo Sepúlveda como Orluis Aular. Y me parece que ya Colombia se queda sin chances, más allá de haber tenido 4 corredores en disputa. También Pickrell, Ridley Pickrell, se quedó sin opciones. Así pues, Canadá y Colombia son los únicos países que tenían ventaja en el número de ciclistas y no metieron a nadie en la definición. ...157.5 kilómetros de recorrido. ...3 horas, 12 minutos... ...y 20 segundos la diferencia... ...entre Narváez... ...y el grupo que lo persigue. Han trabajado muy duro... ...tanto Oblúar como Sepúlveda... ...para ir cerrando... el hueco. Y allá adelante ya se ve a Narváez, que hizo casi una vuelta y media al circuito en solitario. Y nuevamente el grupo persecutor va a la casa. Última vuelta del circuito. Y vamos a los últimos 17.5 kilómetros. Y Narváez ya fue capturado y cazado por el grupo. Y ahora Ecuador tiene 2 corredores en el grupo de cabeza de carrera. Mientras tanto, Víctor Ocampo y Riri Prickle no se resignan a entrar. La diferencia son 30 segundos. Me parece ya entregado el canadiense, aunque puede seguir trabajando en conjunto, relevos en redondo, para cazar al grupo. Y aquí cada vez menos esfuerzos. Y empieza a trabajar la estrategia. Todos a cuidar en qué momento va a partir Richard Carapaz. Eva Sepúlveda enterísimo, al igual que Orluis. Han hecho un trabajo tremendo, tanto el argentino como el venezolano. 2 experimentados ciclistas. Sesler y Vidaurre aguantando. Fagundes también. Y aquí viene Laureano Rosas, que había trabajado y fue cortado. Sepúlveda, que quiere partir. A su rueda le sale Fagundes. Orluis arranca. También ataque de Carapaz, que responde Narváez. Y Vidaurre también. Sesler a la rueda del chileno. Por ahora no se permiten los ataques. ocurre. Último paso por la zona de avituallamiento. Momentos de estudio en la definición, recorriendo ya los últimos 17.5 kilómetros. Estaremos por debajo de las 4 horas, alrededor de más o menos 3 horas 45 minutos. Un poco menos quizá. Para entregar la medalla de oro de la prueba de fondo. Victoria para Richese hace 4 años en Lima. Ignacio Prado de México fue la plata y Brian Gómez de Colombia fue el bronce. En pantalla, Orluis Aular. Trabajo tremendo el de este velocista que me parece puede tener opciones muy serias en la definición de haber un sprint. Sessler. El que se abre es Sepúlveda, que no quiere dar el relevo. Atención con la moto, cuidado ahí. Empieza a tomar alguna diferencia Eduardo Sepúlveda. Por ahora de atrás ninguno quiere atacar. Y responde Aular. Y responde Carapaz, que quiere cerrar el espacio con Eduardo Sepúlveda, que quiere defender esa medalla de oro conseguida hace 4 años por su compatriota Maxi Richese.
Y aquí viene entonces el grupo completando el ciclo paseo sin ningún tipo de acción ni de entrega para intentar al menos recortar la diferencia. Un verdadero y auténtico ciclo paseo lo que pasa atrás. Uy, atención con caída, hubo caída para Richard Carapaz. Parece que la curva le ganó al hombre de Karche, el hombre del IF. A ver. Sí, se fue de rueda, le ganó la curva. Por fortuna, sin problemas para el ecuatoriano Richard Carapaz. Rápidamente
Se incorporó y llega el último ascenso de estos últimos 17.5 kilómetros. Narváez por la parte abierta de la carretera. Sessler en cabeza. Vidaurre lo sigue. Espectacular trabajo de Martín Vidaurre. Viene ya de ser plata en el mountain bike. Cuando había un ataque de Jonathan Narváez nuevamente en el ascenso. Mientras tanto, nos entretenemos con el ciclo paseo. La verdad, trabajo nulo el del grupo de atrás. Y Asconegui, que no se rinde. Decidido a entrar al grupo. No sé si le vaya a alcanzar. Narváez todavía le quedan piernas. Vidaurre, Fagundes, Orluis, Carapaz, Narváez y Sessler. Me parece que Sepúlveda ya no está en el grupo. Solo quedan 6. Por lo menos la toma no nos muestra Sepúlveda en la definición. Carapaz ahora el que pone el ritmo.
Con la ambulancia que se cierra la caravana.
Tras el pelotón completamente desordenado. Y vamos con los 6 de carrera. Carapaz y Narváez poniendo las condiciones, demostrando por qué son ciclistas World Tour. Tremendo trabajo también de Fagundes, de Vidaurre y de Sessler. Y aquí está el grupo cabeza de carrera. Asconegui, que entrará en la última parte del ascenso. Por delante de él están Víctor Ocampo y Ridley Prickle de Canadá. Aquí está Azconegui, el uruguayo, ya seguramente sin posibilidades para aspirar a una medalla. Aquí vemos entonces el último paso por meta antes de que sonara la campana. Todavía estaba en el grupo Eduardo Sepúlveda. Fue el momento de la captura de Jonathan Narváez, que sigue trabajando. Para buscar la medalla. Y por qué no soñar para Ecuador el oro y la plata. Sin duda, con estos dos nombres de Narváez y Carapaz, se puede pensar en esa posibilidad. Y aquí nos vamos entonces al descenso. Zona de definición. estamos entonces. Sessler cerrando el grupo. El brasilero. Narváez, Aular, Fagundes, Carapaz y Vidaurre. Es Carapaz, el hombre que trabaja. Van a cazar a Sepúlveda, que estaba adelante, que había atacado. Vendremos entonces a la definición, seguramente al sprint. ¿Quién será el más fuerte? Sepúlveda en punto de carrera. Carapaz que intenta hacer todo el esfuerzo para cerrar el hueco. Vidaurre su rueda. Fagundes de Uruguay. Orluis Aular de Venezuela. Narváez y Sessler. Atención con la definición de Orluis Aular. Es un hombre al que se le da muy bien las llegadas al sprint. Quizá de los 7, el que más facilidad tiene para sprintar. Sessler es especialista en las carreras de un día, así que le puede ir bastante bien también. Carapaz es escalador por naturaleza. A Sepúlveda le vienen muy bien también las etapas de media montaña. Esta es una llegada completamente plana, en la que los ecuatorianos tendrán que trabajar muy bien para ubicarse y que sea uno el lanzador del otro en el momento del sprint. Pero sin duda alguna, al momento de definir a la velocidad, la rueda buena es la de Orluis Aular. Hay 2 corredores de los 7. Corren en equipos continentales, el brasilero y el chileno. Hay 3 que corren en equipos procontinentales. El uruguayo Fagundes en el Burgos, Sepúlveda en el Lotto Dynasty y Aular en el Caja Rural. Y 2 corredores World Tour, Richard Carapaz en el IF y Jonathan Narváez en el Ineos. Nos vamos entonces a la definición. 3 horas 36 minutos. Ya estamos entonces por la avenida Costanera Sur para llegar a la avenida Providencia y encarar entonces la meta en la Plaza de la Aviación. Carapaz que empieza a perder ritmo. Se tiene que parar en pedales Richard Carapaz. Sufriendo el ecuatoriano. El ritmo que pone Eduardo Sepúlveda es trepidante. Se intentaba cortar, pero llegaba. Agrupado el grupo. Siete corredores, 2 ecuatorianos. Un brasilero, un uruguayo, un argentino. Y atención Chile, un chileno, Martín Vidaurre, que ya fue medalla de plata. Nos vamos a la definición. 200 metros. Viene el ataque de Carapaz. También de Sepúlveda. Atención con Fagundes. Atención con Ruiz. Jonathan Narváez. Medalla de oro para Jonathan Narváez. Medalla de plata para Eduardo Sepúlveda. Y me parece que el bronce es para Fagundes. Medalla de oro entonces para Jonathan Narváez. El ecuatoriano. Tremendo trabajo del hombre de Linios. Celebró desde atrás. Richard Carapaz. Y se les metió Sessler por ahí, el brasilero. El oro entonces. Ah, no, ahí está. Ahí está, iremos al fotofinish para saber entonces si fue la plata para Sepúlveda o para Fagundes. Pasaron los dos muy cerca. Para mí pasó primero Sepúlveda. Aquí está la reiteración. Tremendo trabajo del ecuatoriano. Uy. Hay un bloqueo ahí de la línea de carrera de Richard, que hizo el lanzamiento. Y Narváez en solitario se escapó. Y entraron Sepúlveda y Fagundes. Para mí, el que entró por fuera, por el lado de las vallas, es decir, Fagundes. Narváez, Sepúlveda y Fagundes, en ese orden. Cuarto fue Martín Vidaurre. Los World Tour entonces poniendo las condiciones. Estamos a la espera entonces de la definición oficial. Si fue Sepúlveda o Fagundes la plata, lo cierto es que el oro fue para Ecuador.
Qué carrera. 3 horas, 57 minutos, 56 segundos. Jonathan Narváez, de Ecuador, en la primera posición. Eduardo Sepúlveda de Argentina con la plata. De Eric Fagundes de Uruguay. Vamos a empezar aquí. Casi un infarto.
Y esta es la llegada entonces del canadiense, de Riri Prickle. Estamos a la espera del resultado oficial del photo finish para conocer la medalla de plata. Con esto termina entonces la participación del ciclismo de ruta, que tuvo En la contrarreloj individual, la victoria para Colombia. Y ahora en la prueba de fondo, la victoria para Ecuador.
Vamos con esos que se están escapando, vamos. Los de la... Los que se están escapando. Venga.
Está llegando entonces Brian Sánchez, el corredor colombiano.
Y para todos ustedes que están ahí viendo la carrera de las competencias de ciclismo, nosotros Panamericanos Santiago, que quédense por aquí para homenajear a los mejores atletas de esta competencia que recibirán las medallas de oro, plata y bronce de los Juegos Panamericanos.
Hola. Canal 4, Hockey Césped.
Camilo Castellanos de la Directive Sport, y por favor se acerque aquí de la meta y llegada, por favor, el periodista Camilo Castellanos.
Con amor hoy yo quiero cantar.
El programa de ciclismo de los Juegos Panamericanos de Santiago 2023. El oro para Ecuador, la plata para Argentina y el bronce para Uruguay. Jonathan Narváez, el nuevo campeón de los Juegos Panamericanos. Nosotros en cualquier momento nos encontramos. Sigan ustedes conectados a la pantalla del Panam Sport Channel. Un abrazo para todos.
Ese amor que tienes aquí y te hará regresar al fin a tu lindo Ecuador. Siempre debes decir, por donde quiera que tú estés, ecuatoriano soy.